It is carb load day, baby. Praise the Lord. 3 days of fat load done, and it is time to start loading up. The 3 days of fat load, my body went through some very strange things, and I'll be honest, I found it pretty damn challenging. So the previous video, we showed you the first day of fat load. After that first day, I actually dropped 3 pounds. So I had a significant increase. So day one of fat load was 135 grams of fat. Day two of fat load, we went to 225 grams of fat. Now that was nice. It was tasty. But I experienced some strange things that day. And then day three, we just had a pullback of roughly like 20 grams of fat. But it was hard. So on the second day, I woke up like I felt absolutely terrible. I think I had about 4 hours sleep, and I woke up at 1 a.m. and I was awake all day. But in the morning, like my energy was horrendous. And I tried to have a nap after I did my check-ins, and I couldn't sleep, but my eyes were closed and I felt like I just hallucinated for 20 minutes straight. And then when I got up at my second meal and went to the gym, I had this massive surge of energy. It was bizarre. But then day three was back to feeling pretty rough, and there was some strong mental battles going on that day three. And I was very much at that point ready to eat some carbs because my energy was absolutely in the bin. But it is time to start carb loading, which I'm very excited about. So this morning, 202 pounds, which is my lightest of prep, which makes it officially 10 kilos up, 22 pounds up from my lightest of prep last year in a 10-month off season, which I am pretty damn proud of, I've got to say. So it is time to load, and it's time to start bringing this physique to life. There is 950 grams of carbohydrates going in today. So I'll take you along for the journey and show you how that looks. But goddamn, am I excited for it. Let's get it. What a spread that is. Meal one, carb load day one. So this is going to be a 3-day carb load. And the first meal is going to be 325 grams of sourdough, 2 whole eggs, 100 grams of salmon, and then the usual veg that I have with 150 grams of raspberries. Now the veg is going to be kept consistent because that keeps sodium and electrolyte balance consistent. So keeping the sodium consistent as well. So I've got 12 grams of salt throughout the day, which I've been having the whole prep. And what we're also going to do as well today is 3 grams of creatine monohydrate with every single meal, which is going to help to uptake carbohydrates and nutrients. So this is the first meal. I usually train after 2 meals, but today I'm going to train after the first meal because I haven't had carbs for 3 days. And what we want to do is we want to get that initial response from having that first carb meal. So carbs straight in, and then we essentially want to start utilizing those carbs and shuttle in the nutrients around the body. So this meal looks absolutely incredible. I'm using bread because it's digested well with me the whole of prep. Now, as I spoke about in previous videos, like high days, peak weeks, they're not time to start adding in all random foods. We are literally using the foods that I've used all the way throughout prep because I know I digest them well. So we're going to get this in now. I am going to fully enjoy this. First carb meal in 3 days. And then we shall head to the gym, and I'll talk you through what we're doing with the intro and show you a little bit of the session and how the physique is looking. I am excited, if you can't tell.
Okay, so it's time to move some food around. Meal one went down an absolute storm. Tasted good. It felt like more bread than I usually have. It's the same amount as I've been having on my high days, but I think because I've been eating pro fats for the last 3 days, my stomach has shrunk. But after a little digestion, Morgan went down well. So we're in for pull today, and it is quite literally just to move food around. So when you're carbing up, the last thing you want to come in and do is like a really intense session and burn through the glycogen that you're trying to load your muscle with. So the goal is literally to just shuttle nutrients around, drive the glycogen into the muscle, and essentially just start to fill out and hopefully get a nice pump on. So within the intra workout today is 100 grams of carbs, which is like 120 grams of Carb Max from Strom. That is like drinking syrup. I like sweet stuff, so it's absolutely unreal. So we're going to go through a pump session now. We quite literally got 3 sets of a lat focus pull down, 3 sets of a lat focus row, which I'm doing first because someone was on the pull down, 3 sets of an upper back row, rear delts, bicep tricep pump, get a bit of posing done, send it to Christian, see how we're looking, and then back home and continue to eat. So let's get it. I think I'm starting to fill out. I think I'm getting the first pump I've had in 3 days, which is nice. So the game plan for today, as I said, isn't to train intense. It's just to be really precise with the movements that we're doing and like build some really good mind to muscle connection. So you'll notice on the movements, I'm really trying to spend a lot of time in that shortened position and really squeeze the muscle as hard as I can, basically just to drive as much connection and drive as much nutrients into the muscle as possible. So it's nice to feel like this peak week. I feel like today I've got really good energy, whereas like my last peak week, I was wrecked going into it, and I didn't have this enjoyment. Like my energy's great today, and my last peak week, I just wanted to get through my sessions and see how I was looking at the end of the session. Whereas today I feel nice and relaxed. Like, feel like it's all coming together very, very nicely. So gonna take my time, be present in this session, enjoy it, get a good pump on, and then at the end of the session, we'll see how I'm looking, which I'm very much looking forward to.
session number 1 of the carb load done. It's always weird, the first session of a carb load or a high day. It's always a bit of an anti-climax. I think I said it on my last high day. You're like, oh, I've got more carbs going in, I'm going to have an insane pump. And the reality is that I've got a lot of filling to go, you know. So I had 150 gram carb my first meal, 100 gram carb intro, which I felt pretty sick after. And, you know, I've got another 700 to go today and then another 2 days of filling. So it's a weird one. You're expecting a massive pump, but then it's a little bit like, oh, an anticlimax. But tomorrow should be a good pump, should be a real good one. So in terms of the protocol of training this week, the last 3 days of fat load, or sorry, the first 2 days of fat load were just push, pull, reps, and reserve. Today now was pull, as we went through. Again, just reps and reserve, 3 to 4 sets on each. Tomorrow is going to be push. And then Friday, the final day of the carb load, is actually just going to be a day off, so we can just fully fill as much space in the muscle as possible and soak up all that food. So post-workout, 200 grams of cereal, 100 grams of banana, 35 grams of protein from whey, and then I've got 2 squares bars, which I'm going to save for after to heat up, because it's absolutely incredible heated up. I'm going to start with the jaw break protocol of just having paste, but I have a feeling this is going to be nowhere near enough to actually get this cereal down. So I think I'm going to have to add some water or something to it to actually get 200 grams of cereal down. Otherwise, my jaw will be having some serious hypertrophy. I think my jaw will be the fullest of everything when I step on stage on Saturday if I don't have anything else on it. So we're going to have this now, and then I'll go for another 5-minute walk after this. So every meal today, I'm just going to get out for a 5-10 minute walk just to make sure I'm digesting food properly. Game plan for the rest of the day then, I've got some work to do. So my schedule's changed a little bit today because I had to change a training first thing, but all my check-ins are done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get I've got a couple of client setups to send out in terms of videos, a couple of program updates to do. So I'm going to get that done, but keep nice and chilled. And on peak week, it's very, you have to send photos after every single meal, which by the end of the week, you're like, oh, bloody hell. But I'm going to be sending photos to Christian 15 minutes before every single meal. So there's going to be a lot of posing, waiting on knowing what to eat. And to be honest with you, it won't be waiting long because Christian's responses are insane. So yeah, that is the game plan. I've got 3 more meals to go in after this. And then we'll see how we're looking tomorrow. I think what I'll do is we'll just show you the progressions of the physique. We'll show you the full day of eating today, and then we'll show you the progressions of the physique over the next 2 days. And then obviously we're going to do another video for show day. So I'm going to get this down me now. Have some hot squares bars. And then do some work. Guys, we missed meal 3. Well, I didn't. I had it. But I just couldn't get around to actually filming what it was, but it doesn't matter because it's exactly the same as this one, just a little bit of change in veg. So basically, like I have 2, like the last 3 days in fat load, I've been having a chicken meal. 1 meal I've been having salad. 1 meal I've been having like green beans, mushrooms. So that is the only change. So in this meal is 150 grams of chicken, 500 grams of potatoes. So I've had a kilo of potato today after this meal. 150 gram of blueberries. I can't even talk, I'm that tired. And a squares bar, which I'm gonna have heated up. I forgot, because I haven't obviously competed for a year. You forget how busy and manic carb ups and peak weeks are. You know, like staying on top of doing work, but then I'm literally sending photos every couple of hours, waiting to see if there's any changes, making the food, going out for digestion walks in between, and then obviously doing work in between. It's been pretty stressful, I'll be honest with you. So I'm still doing a bit of work now. It is 7 o'clock and this is my 4th meal, so we've got another meal to go, so eating later than actually planned. But we're getting there, we're on top. So after the last meal, sent photos, and I actually got tighter after 500 grams of potato. Now this just goes to show that different foods work for different people. A lot of people go with rice-based stuff because it digests the best on a peak week. I personally know that I get on with potatoes well. My stomach actually got tighter after I had 500 grams of potatoes, so we're just going to repeat this meal again. The protein is quite lower throughout the carb ups, and that's simply because so all day protein is lower than it's usually been, and that's so that we can get more calories coming from carbohydrates, but also as well, protein is like the hardest macro to digest. So we want to be able to keep digestion in place to obviously be able to keep eating and keep improving the look. So I'm going to get this meal in now. These potatoes are a lot better than I did on the last meal because they were rushed. They are very, very good. And the last meal is thankfully already made, so I'm hoping there's not actually a change to the last meal because I can't be asked to make it again. Cream of rice in the fridge, ready for me. So I'm praying that that does stay the same. But if you're kind of going into your first bodybuilding competition, I couldn't recommend enough. If you have the luxury, taking the last few days of your peak week off work because it can be stressful. You do need to send photos to your coach all the time. So staying on top of that and being in work, like I've obviously got the luxury of I work from home. I couldn't imagine like actually trying to do it working from somewhere else. So if you can, take the week off because it does get pretty stressful. It is finally time for the last meal of the day. Last check-in photos have been sent and I'm just getting tighter and tighter throughout the day, which is a very, very good sign. A very good sign that the loading is going well. We're not spilling over. And when we talk about spilling over essentially means like the water is shifted outside of the muscle and it's kind of like giving a filmy look over the muscle underneath the skin, which then creates a look that's not lean. And that'll tell you that you're pretty much there in terms of fullness. So we obviously want to be able to load over 3 days because the goal is to load over 3 days leading up to the show. The goal is to actually spill over by the time we get to the 3rd day, because on the 4th day, what we're going to do is we're going to have a wash off where essentially what we're going to be doing is going back to protein and fats and basically dropping off the water. So when you add in carbohydrates pull in roughly 3 to 4 grams of water. So we obviously want to load up as much as we possibly can, but it is going to get to a point where you're likely going to spill over, or that's the goal anyway. And then in order to get rid of that water, we need to go back to protein and fats, and that will pull off the water. But with 3 days of loading, glycogen will hold in the muscle across 24, 48 hours. So when I step on stage, the idea is then we have that wash off and I'm looking nice and dry and nice and full. So that is the goal. That is the goal. So I've very much been looking forward to this meal because on the day before my first fat load, I'd actually prepped 100 grams of cream of rice. And this flavor, I'm absolutely obsessed with. Banana cream pie. I don't think they sell it, like make it anymore. But I managed to find some. And it came the day before my fat load. And I prepped it. But then I was put on an enforced rest day. So I couldn't have that cream of rice, which I was pretty fuming about. So I've got it in now, 130 grams of cream of rice. We're going to have 35 grams of protein coming from whey, 100 grams of blueberries, which I'm going to have on the side. And I'm actually going to have my squares bar broken up into the cream of rice just for a little bit of texture. So I'm going to mix all that together, paste on top, sit down, put something nice on TV and chill out, which I'm very much looking forward to because it's been an absolutely mental day. So the next time you see me now, it will be show day. So you'll see the result of part 1, the fat load, part 2, the carb load, and then part 3, the wash off. And then it will be show day. So we'll be shooting show day. We'll be taking you through it, showing how it's done, showing how it look. And fingers crossed it goes well. So let's see what happens. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you on show day.